Join me this and every Tuesday at 7 to 8:30 p.m. as we discuss various interesting topics and take a look at the current happenings on our island and in our region. Just before you go on your bed, let's touch on the points with your host, Connie JE, right here on Flashpoint Radio. Yes, welcome back to another episode of Just Before You Got Your Bed. Your girl Connie JE is live in studios, but I tell you, it is cold outside. When we have that song in Christmas that says, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, I thought maybe we missed something or that the year was looping back. Because this weather, do you love it? I absolutely dig it. I love it. My concern, of course, are for those in areas that are snowing, that we have a friend in Canada that says, between, you know, her house and her neighbors, there is a wall of ice, so she can't see over the neighbor's yard. She can't see the neighbor's house at all, right? And I think that is so, that's mind boggling. Plus, you're having rain on top of that snow. Ah, boy, never before has it happened like that. So it's interesting. Tonight, right here in the Cayman Islands, the degrees are going to fall to a 65 to 68. And today in Jamaica, it was a 54, but felt like 50. So can you all just check for me and see if it did snow up a Blue Mountain and let me know? Mm. Just jot me a line. I count on you to help me to garner info. Yeah. So let's find out if it actually snowed on Blue Mountain. And mind you now, it did snow once. In the 70s. Check it out, man. And it's so weird that we have never experienced moments like this, that it would be this cold. Do you know what it's telling you? The coming of our Lord is just around the bend. Are you ready to meet him? Is everything good with you? Good with the Father? And the sort out? A friend? Because if you're not a friend of God, brother, you're not gonna pretty. You see me? And I would encourage you, if you decide not to be a friend of God, enjoy the weather and go to Canada. But they absorb all of the cool now because they eat now go pretty, right? But in the meantime, I want you to go on. I want you to like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend to jump on because Connie JE, just before you go to bed, we'll be talking about some stuff. Because we're talking about what's happening, what's current, we keep it real here. And so I want you to assist me in spreading the word. And of course, if you have ideas for the show, if there's a topic that you would like me to jump on, please, send that info, just go on the live and thing, or send me a message, and let's see what's happening. And of course, if you want to be a part of the conversation, please feel free, just jump on. So, yeah, so like, subscribe, and share. And, and let's get this thing jiggy. Let's keep, each other warm with conversations in the weather like this. And do everything that you can to, drink warm fluids, keep yourself hydrated, get those vitamin C, you get your vitamin C in. And I recommend elderberry, I recommend elderberry. You can get them from Foster's. I know Foster's, Camana Bay, No Kirks. I'm not sure about Early's, but Early's have the black cumin. All of these things, those nice herbal things, they're really good to ward off the cold and the flu. And with weather like this, that's what we'll have, the sniffles. We'll have the virus will go creep up, isn't it? So do what you can to keep healthy and keep yourself nice and warm. And for those of you who can tolerate the cold like myself, I love it. Go out there, breathe in that nice fresh air. Get yourself sorted out. And then after the cold hits, just jump into a nice warm shower. It's hydrotherapy at the end of the day. And, I'll just give God thanks for where we are, what is happening, and, ensure that a part of your prayer, remember persons that are living in countries and areas that is now being affected by this cold storm. This, you know, persons are walking in knee high snow. You have other areas that persons who live in high rise or like, their 5, 6 story buildings are jumping out of their windows because the snow is all the way up, 5 floors up, 6 floors up, right? And persons are jumping out of their windows and skiing. Who would have thought? And so a lot more surprises are on the way because time itself is coming to an end. And you see, I go on fast as the queen because we're not just gonna say Happy New Year. And in a couple of weeks, again, we'll be saying Merry Christmas. But all in that, Flashpoint Media is here because we bring good vibes. So we're here to transition. We're here to traverse. We are here to experience it with you. And of course, we bring you the jits. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Just before you go to your bed, we'll be right back.
Need help to produce your podcast? Flashpoint Media makes it very easy. We can relieve you of the headache by recording your podcast for you. So, take the first step to getting your content to your desired audience. Contact us here at Flashpoint and your podcast will be live in no time. Our website is www.flashpointmedia.ky or call us at 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969.
Yes, yes. Welcome back. Just before you go to your bed, it's happening here. We're in the chilly spot of the Cayman Islands, you know what I mean? Loving the weather. And I want to send shout out to, my friends and my fam. I want to say, to Chef Sango. And I want to share with you. Remember the other couple sessions ago, we said that he owed me cake and all these things because I didn't get my Christmas cake. Valentine's Day is around the corner, so he has a Valentine's cake for me and any extra cake we might send, right? So he reached out and I said, if make it happen, I'm gonna make my audience know say, the thing not turn up, and so I'm gonna let you know that Executive Pastry Chef Sango said, listen, tell your audience that me, Chef Sango, gonna make sure cake reach you in the Cayman Islands. So once it gets here, I'm gonna share it with you. So for those of you who wanna come on down, but you see me, I have to tell you when the cake come, right? And then I will put it out on Instagram and TikTok so we get the cake. So when we come into just before you got your bed set, those of you who wanna come on down and get a slice, no matter, no things that I got done it out, just a little slice. I'm gonna share with you, right? But I'm gonna let you know. So big up Sango, you know. So he's gonna get my cake to me. CM, Odile, Maki, of course, all of you, my family and friends all of our listeners right here in Grand Cayman, Little Cayman and Cayman Brac. Those of you who are in Jamaica, shivering away. In Canada, England, of course, the Caribbean, US of A, wherever you're listening from, thank you so much for joining us. And, we appreciate you sharing your time with us. You remember in October of 2025, Flashpoint Media made history right here in the Cayman Islands. They were the first ever to bring Cayman's Got Talent to the islands. And in October, we had persons who answered the call to showcase their talents. And I tell you, it was something else. And last Saturday night was the finale. Oh, indeed. So I want to share a little snippet of our contestants, a little snippet of history, so you're able to see a little bit of, who participated and what Cayman's Got Talent was all about. Because listen, if you thought that this was the icebreaker, Flashpoint have news for you. We're coming in bigger, we're coming in harder, and all you're gonna hear in your ears is champion, 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 Flashpoint. Okay, wait, let's play the clip on Flashpoint Radio. Tonight, we celebrate talent, passion, and the power of dreams realized. From breathtaking vocals to electrifying dance, spoken word that moved us, and performances that brought the house to its feet, the gospel edition of Cayman's Got Talent has showcased the very best of our islands. This season reminded us that talent is a gift from God, and every performer who stepped onto this stage has already triumphed by boldly sharing their talent, their faith, and their courage with the world. Performers of all ages answered the call, including our youngest contestant, 7-year-old Lily Michael, whose joy and confidence inspired audiences across the Cayman Islands. Tonight's show is a celebration of that journey and moments that lifted hearts and brought us together as a community. Stay with us as Flashpoint Media walks us through the heart, the passion, and the unforgettable moments of the gospel edition of Cayman's Got Talent, right here, right now. Yes, indeed. And of course, the winner of Cayman's Got Talent 2025, none other than Miss Erstina Neshev, crowned the queen of Cayman's Got Talent. And, I just want to say congratulations to her, congratulations to our runner up and our third place, placement. Just want to say to you that, encourage you to just use your talent uh, at the best of what you can do. Just do the best that you can do for God. And the enemy will, want you to share your talents elsewhere and otherwise. But if you stay on target, stay on the course with God, listen, you will reach heights you would have never dreamed, imagined, thought that you would have attained. God is big and the benefits of God are amazing. So, congratulations to all our winners, and thank you so much to all of our contestants, that you were brave enough to stand in the front, in front of the camera, the lights, and it was action, and you were part of history. It will never, never be able to be done twice because Flashpoint did it once. But we have news for you that we're going to share a little bit later for our next round of Cayman's Got Talent. It's going to be bigger, it's going to be more exciting. Stay tuned. We're going to bombard you with excitement galore on the next round of Cayman's Got Talent. So tonight, I'm going to be talking about a thing that affects us women, especially if you're in your late 30s for some, in your 40s, definitely in your 50s. And, I would implore the men to ensure that they listen and garner this information because, what I realize in talking to a couple of my friends and a couple guys, and reason with them and thing, their problem is that they don't get, I'm going to call, um, regular private moments with their wives, And some people, as I will terms it in Jamaica, lock shop. And sometimes, women may lock shop intentionally, and sometimes the shop lock because just the goods them either expire or the shopkeeper just tired for whatever reason. So what I'm gonna talk about, men, you wanna learn too, because if you learn this and kind of get the whole jits, the key points, trust me, you will be able to maneuver, and you see them nice intimate moments that you like with your wife. Y'all go on put her on schedule because it's too much, too much. Remember last week Tuesday, I told you, men, how amazing it is for those of you who are having erectile dysfunction to use the black Jamaican castor oil and all the other things them, the nice herb them that you would use and everything like that for your betterment. So tonight I'm going to talk about the ladies, but men, you also want to keep it locked. Tonight we're going to talk about perimenopause, the hated word menopause, because it comes with night sweats and hot flashes and, sleep disruption. And everybody, females, we just don't want to hear menopause, right? And so we tend to overlook the period, the transitional period that goes into menopause, which is known as perimenopause. And it is interesting, and I implore and encourage every woman, every man, to garner the information, go and look it up, understand what your wives will be going through. Women, understand what you're going through because then you have better communication, better understanding, and so the transition will be smoother. Mm? Because sometimes things are happening and you just don't know how I go on. And I did not know that this thing was so deadly. Can you imagine? I could not believe it. But I said, God is such an amazing God. Listen, sometimes God just blows my mind because me just have to say, he's such a wise man, an amazing man. So we'll be talking about perimenopause. But before we go into that, I want to tell you that this is for information purposes only. Flashpoint Media, just before you go to your bed, is not saying to you that this is law. This is only for information purposes only. So for medical advice, or diagnosis, you want to ensure that you consult a professional, get to your healthcare provider. Absolutely. Now, it is now known that women, it should be widely known and all women should know this, but just in case, I just want to reiterate and show you the amazement about it. Every woman is born with their eggs. Every female is born with her eggs. That means I was born with my eggs. So my children, And my mom born with her eggs, which I'm a part of that egg. And her mother, she's a part of the egg that my grandmother was born with. And you get me what I mean? So I'm in my mom is in my grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, myself. my children are in my great grandmother. You see where I'm going? And all of us, including my great grandmother, is in my great great grandmother, all the way to Eve. Who else could do such an amazing thing? Can you imagine? So Eve was created with her eggs. And so in turn, the reproduction cycle, her girls were born with the eggs that were in Eve, and it came down the line. How amazing. So your eggs, they are the same age as you are. And if you want to get technical, they're old but new. And who else could have done that but God? So, in the process of time, perimenopause came about. So, what is perimenopause? And I'll share with you. Perimenopause is the transitional, often years long phase before menopause when hormone levels, estrogen and progesterone, fluctuate, causing irregular periods, hot flashes, mood swings, and sleep issues. Beginning typically in the 40s, but sometimes 30s, it lasts until 12 consecutive months without a menstrual cycle, without your period. Mm? So until you have that 12-month consecutive, uh, months without your period, then you'll be officially in menopause. But perimenopause brings mood swings. Not only that, it brings, brain fog. And we're going to talk about some of the symptoms. And what hit me the most was that it also brings suicidal thoughts. So, total care must be had. And you want to ensure that you are learned and understand when you're actually going through this phase. So, key aspects of perimenopause, um, the definition of that is that the around menopause phase where ovarian function declines and hormonal changes causes symptoms. The duration normally for perimenopause lasts an average of 4 years. So look out to do 4 years of perimenopause. I thought that was so crazy. But this can also span from a few months up to 10 years. So I again will implore ladies, get into a relationship with God because trust me, only He can carry us through this thing and keep our heads, settled. Some of the symptoms of perimenopause are, the common signs. They include irregular periods, that we touched on, hot flashes that everybody fears, night sweats, everybody, fears. But guess what? It causes also brain fog. You just find yourself forgetting, or you may be looking at me and say me know her, but I can't remember her name right now. And maybe when me gone is when you say, oh, Connie JE. We're just having that moment we can't remember. You put up your glasses and you look for the glasses, but the glasses there on your head. Bigger than that, you have the phone, you're talking on the phone, the person on the phone is giving you some information, and you tell the person, say, hold on, let me get my phone. But the phone, you're on the phone, right? So, brain fog, anxiety, and that is one of those things. And trust me, me can tell us, I know what anxiety is all about. Cause me have one procedure yesterday, and me tell you something. Me just take up my nice little black handbag, and me walk out of HSA. Tell you one thing, anxiety, don't stress me, okay? So that thing is going to get you low libido and vaginal dryness. Now, this is key to understand, especially men, you want to understand that during this time, your wives will have vaginal dryness. Vaginal dryness causes pain during intercourse. So if you're mindful about that, you'll be more than happy and I'm sure more than willing to assist your wife in alleviating that. It's not that you don't love you or don't want to be close to you, but hey, we're going through this. We're having anxiety. You know, the libido may be low. I'm having this dryness. I'm having cold sweats and I'm having brain fog. See with me, you understand? I may not be able to operate a shop, right? So if you're able to help, the transition will be lovely, lovely and nice. Can I say, um, lubricated on the show? I believe I just did, right? Some of the distinction is, like, unlike post-menopause, after, been through menopause, women in this phase, perimenopause phase, still have periods, right? Although they may become heavier, lighter, close together, or further apart. And I'm very afraid of the heavier. Lighter is all right, but having heavier periods, and you don't know how we go through wicked already in the months, them, and some women have this thing so bad because coupled with fibroids or, all those other little things, trust me, going through this and having your menstrual cycle now come heavier, and heavier means more pain, right? I watched a video once, when they had three guys together and they put on a machine, somewhat like the TENS machine, but it is to stimulate menstrual cramps. And so it's a level of 1 to 10. And some of them kick out, scream just at level 1. And when you turn it to level 2, boom, some were falling out. And it was so interesting to see that none went above level 3. And one of the guy made a very interesting, for me it was a very eye-opening statement for men. I'm saying it would be for them. He asked the question: you go through this every month. You are at work, you're in the kitchen, you're dealing with the children, and you're dealing with all of that at a level 10? He couldn't believe it. And so I said, this is an eye opener for men, that we have women even beyond a level 10. Trust me. Sometimes the threshold is up there. And yet they go to work, they are at home, they're cleaning. So sometimes when you see them lie down and bend up on whatever I want, if you give them some tea, please run to the stove, make that tea. Men, be empathic with your wives, yes? And some of the options to manage symptoms, of course, include lifestyle changes because um, you have some, foods that actually help, the adjustments to your diet because you want to lessen sugar, you want to put in a lot more fiber, have more fluids, and sometimes herbal supplements really aid in alleviating some of the symptoms, right? And of course, treatments like the hormone replacement therapy, HRT, also helps. And we'll talk a little bit about that further on because sometimes all on our mind is estrogen, estrogen, estrogen. We'll take the estrogen tablets or we use the patch. But no one realizes as well that in this treatment, you want to take a look at your progesterone because it too falls. It too falls. And sometimes that's the one that falls while estrogen is still high. So you also want to take, your test, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So perimenopause then officially ends And menopause, of course, begins, and this is when a woman had has not had a period for 12 months. So, what are the first signs of perimenopause? Because some women may be going through some things, and you're sick. Something else is making you ill, but it's actually the first signs of perimenopause. And mind you, this can even start in your 30s. You remember back in the day, certain diseases were classified old people disease. Perimenopause, and we never used to know about perimenopause. All we would have heard was menopause, and that would have been for women in their late 50s, touching 60s. Now we have 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds with diabetes, and even younger. Young persons are having stroke, dying from strokes. So things are transitioning. No, perimenopause can start even in your 30s. So just in case, want to take out your pen and your book, jot down certain things, or just go on the website and just look at perimenopause, right? So some of the first signs of this is the menstrual changes. So, most common early detector is changes in your cycle, such as periods getting closer together or further apart. And of course, the lighter, heavier flow or just spotting. Sometimes you're able, to just wear your liners. And then there are times that you probably end up having to double up. You know what I mean? And of course, the very dreaded hot flashes and night sweats. You would think that was only in menopause, but no, perimenopause as well. So, sudden feelings of intense heat, often in the face and the neck and the chest, and then that can disrupt, of course, your sleep. Mood swings, increase irritability, when you just get angry all of a sudden, everything irritates you. So just increasing that, your anxiety, increasing that, you start to getting a little bit fearful, or you're so anxious about things, and anxiety pops up, increase frustration, things, you're trying to put things together, put something into something, and it's just not working out, or you're trying to piece some things together. Every little thing just frustrates you. Someone not being there, someone not being on time, or you can't find something, or you just move something and somebody move it. Just little things just gets you so frustrated. And of course, when that is happening, we get tearful. So the tearfulness, of course, is due to the hormonal, fluctuations. Yeah. And it is amazing how going through these mood swings, these shift in the moods, and we're still expected. The expectation is that we still function normally. So kudos to our women who are going through this transitional phase, and you're still holding it down, holding the family together, holding yourself together. Kudos to you. And of course, once you get the hot flashes and all these things, it's going to disrupt your sleep. You're going to have some problems with sleep. So, difficulty falling or staying asleep. And, sometimes we think is, you know, we'll say, okay, may I have insomnia. And it's not really insomnia, because insomnia is a thing all by itself. It has its own basket. But perimenopause is another one, though, that causes you to have difficulty falling asleep. And then if you have your TV in your room like I do, you know, TV, I watch me, I watch him. That also aids to it. So you'll have trouble falling asleep, and then you'll have difficulty staying asleep. And of course, sometimes it's linked to the night sweats, and of course the hormonal drops. And again, remember we're talking about the brain fog. So it's the forgetfulness, poor concentration, and mental fatigue. So for those of you who have, you have to be on the job, you're dealing with, sensitive information, you're dealing with money, finances, all of that, and then you have that mental fatigue, or especially if you're in a people facing environment, customer service, the experience, and you have the mental fatigue, you're forgetting things, and just poor concentration, that will push you, to get frustrated, get teary eyed, just get irritable, right? So, all of these things. And of course, we touched on vaginal dryness, and this is when the tissue becomes drier, leading to discomfort or pain during intercourse. Palpitations as well. Um, your heartbeats may feel more noticeable or rapid, and some people might get a little frightened on the first episodes of these because you're thinking, wonder if something is wrong with my heart because this thing is racing and it's so noticeable. And of course, again, triggering anxiety. And then, of course, the increased PMS. So, and this is one of the really good signs if you see that this is happening to you, and what I realize is that we blame everything on gas. So you can't have a heart attack and people have a heart attack and they say, "Oh, I gas," and we run go give them tea, right? But they're actually having a heart attack, and we think it's gas because gas love come up under your rib cage, and gas all over, and gas is very painful. But one of the early signs of perimenopause is actually bloating. You feel bloated, you feel gassy, you know, the system, how your body, transition or make, your food and waste travel is being affected. So you get bloated. And you find that, if you eat, you have gas. If you not eat, you have gas. That's a sign, huh? That's a sign. So bloating, breast tenderness, or moodiness, which can intensify again before your period. So, normally, some of us have those symptoms of when our period is coming. You feel bloated, you're having acne, mood swings, and tender breasts, all of that. Here with perimenopause, you're still having your menstrual cycle, so all of those symptoms double up on you. It is crazy when you think about it. It is crazy that women go through so much, right? And yet God keeps us sane. He designed us in such a way to make us sane. So when the devil thought that him not go pop we down, you know, God got our back. So I tell you, he's so amazing. So, other potential early signs I also want to share with you are joint pains and muscle aches. You know what I mean? I watched a video, very funny video, where the guy and his wife, they're in bed, he's reading a book, and she wants to go out. So she gets up, she gets dressed, and she's like, come. And he's like, no, I feel more excited when I'm home reading a book versus going out to a party or a club. And she's like, I can't understand. And he's like, listen, I go to sleep and I wake up in the morning and I sprain my little toe. And we say, I must karate in my do in I'm sleep. But even for men experience this, but women, you lie down and when you get up, you're stiff. You lie down on your side and you barely can't get up out of the bed. You come inside and the hip hurt you, the knee, your back, your shoulder, your hand, and you be like, what is happening? You go to sleep good, You wake up, you can barely move. And sometimes you're sitting down, and to get up, you have to bend and then walk in the bend till you're straight. All of that signs of perimenopause. And those are issues that you need to get addressed because osteoporosis follows if these things are not treated. So when you feel the joint pains and all of that, and you find that you're very stiff or you bend and you have to walk in the bend until you can come up straight and straighten up yourself, you wanna, get to your doctor and get that checked out. So of course you have changes in skin, changes in your hair is thinning out, falling out, urinary issues like the urgency or frequency, and of course, again, reduce a sex drive and changes in sexual function. And so, all of these are early signs of perimenopause. So, if you are experiencing any of these and you realize that they're increasing, they are more frequent, please, 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 we are gonna talk about. Join me this and every Tuesday.
Quiets down, and the noise of the day fades away. That's when the real conversations begin. The ones we hide, the ones we fear, the ones that need to be heard. The ones that need to be heard. Conversations after dark with Mario, where the silence no forward.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Join me this. Yes, yes. Welcome back. We're talking about menopause and me. And we just spoke about, what was perimenopause, what are the early signs of perimenopause. And so we'll be talking now a little bit about the four stages of perimenopause. And you know we already discussed that perimenopause, of course, is that transition to menopause. And it's often broken down into um the four stages, like the early perimenopause cycles may vary by 7 plus days, progesterone drops, and late perimenopause cycles that last 60 plus days, periods become infrequent, leading to menopause. And of course, those some models that you'll find, doctors may have, healthcare providers may share, they will also add the very early stage, and the final menopause transition phase with symptoms, again, of course, irregular periods. So that's your marker. That menstrual cycle is the marker. uh, Hot flashes and mood swings again, as those increase as hormones fluctuate. So here's a breakdown of the common stages. So the first stage is that late reproductive stage. That's the very early perimenopause, which here again, I said this, your menstrual cycle will last like 7 plus days. That's the very early perimenopause. And so Subtle hormonal shifts begin as your egg supply starts to decline. So you find a little shift, so the eggs are declining. Yeah, it's interesting. And I'm looking at it, I'm 28 years old now. And I feel that I made history just as our Flashpoint Media made history with Cayman's Got Talent, because I feel like I'm experiencing some of these perimenopausal things. And I'm just 28. I shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, my truth. Okay. So interesting. Very interesting. And of course the cycle length varies by a week or more, so example, you may have shorter or longer gaps between periods, and bleeding might be heavier or lighter. Ah, the things we go through. And then you have late perimenopause. And what happens in this is that hormone levels drop more consistently and periods become more irregular. And cycle changes now can be separated by 60 days or more, meaning you skip occasional periods, and symptoms, of course, like hot flashes and night sweats often become more pronounced. Pray, ladies, pray that the Lord will allow you to pass, that cup to pass from you. But if that cup, he says you have to sip from that cup, ask the Lord that it will be at a lesser degree. And if he doesn't allow that lesser degree to stay with you, but you are experiencing it at the magnitude, its full magnitude, allow, ask the Lord to. Period is quite infrequent, and you're skipping some months, and them little things that you think like, yeah, you're good. Be very, very careful, because during this time, you are still able to get pregnant, right? So, want to remember, key takeaway for perimenopause, that it isn't a single event. Just boom, done. No, but it's a gradual shift, with the biggest changes happening in the late stages as periods become unpredictable and eventually they cease. So, what happens, what's happening to our hormones over the 4 stages of perimenopause? And I'm going to put a image, we're going to put an image on the screen that you can take a look at it and see the flow of, your estrogen and progesterone. So you're able to see that. And remember we said the four stages was, your late reproductive stage, the early perimenopause stage, then of course the late perimenopause, and of course the menopausal transition. And so what is happening to our hormones over these 4 stages, And so of course, again, we perimenopause is characterized by lowering progesterone and initially high fluctuating levels of estrogen. So you'll see the image on the screen. It will show you, coming from birth, and childhood there. It's both the progesterone and the estrogen leveling off the same. Then your progesterone goes higher, mm, and your estrogen leveling up. But when it comes to the reproductive phase, you see the changes, right? And then here we're taping off into perimenopause. You can see that estrogen can be higher than your progesterone. And so when we're thinking about treatment, we all think that it's estrogen we need, but sometimes it may be progesterone, because it becomes a little less. Then when you get to menopause, of course, they taper off and end together. So estrogen does lower eventually, but still fluctuates, but only as we approach menopause. So, you know, so want to remember that. And as well, I'll be sharing with you um, on the screen symptoms of low progesterone. So here are some of those symptoms, and we'll share that on the screen with you as well. Some of those symptoms are, again, anxiety, shorter cycles, sleep disturbance, heavy and painful periods, headaches and migraines, breast pain, PMS, histamine related symptoms. So if you never troubled with migraines before, and then all of a sudden you're just having them headaches, you're having those migraines and they're intense, you wanna check all the other symptoms. Just check that box. Am I actually going through perimenopause? And of course, speak with your healthcare provider. Symptoms of high fluctuating estrogen or poor estrogen metabolism, right? So when it's poor estrogen metabolism, it's now when it's high, when estrogen itself is high and it's fluctuating. And some of the symptoms of that we share on the screen with you. It's heavy and painful period. So it's not metabolizing well, right? Breast pain, irritable mood, histamine related symptoms, hot flashes and night sweats, mood issues, vaginal dryness, aches and pains. Ugh, ache and pain. Headaches. Ooh, right? All of that. Abdominal weight gain. So you remember a couple months ago we talked about the visceral fat. Yes, I know. We're gonna target that, and you know, Flashpoint. Here at just before you go to your bed, we'll be addressing that as well because we want our women to you know be in the know overall, not just giving you the information. Here it is. These are the symptoms. One, two, three. But also sharing with you how to transition your diet, how to make those adjustments, right? Um, Things that will help your moods. We'll talk about herbs, as well, that can also aid that. Also giving our men the information to be able to assist you. And, all of these things are combining and exercises that are, great for you during this time. And as well, since we know that coming into menopause, you're going to have that abdominal weight gain. We want to help you to target the visceral fat, so to help alleviate the weight gain in the abdominal region. And then you'll find that you have more cervical mucus, right? So sometimes we'll panic. Still yet, you want to seek the advice of your healthcare provider. You don't want to think that, okay, I'm having more mucus, and I'm thinking that is nothing, and it could be an infection, right? So you want to be able to check yourself, just monitor yourself. If there are any odors that you are not, you know, this is new, this odor is not to your liking, and you want to get it out there. Um, if you're having heavy or a discharge, gel-like or mucusy, you wanna get that checked, because hey, and you want to be very mindful. So as you transition in this phase, going through this phase, your health is our primary concern. That's the forefront. And we want you to take care of you. And of course, um, being irritable, that increases a lot. And of course, poor sleep. So, symptoms of low estrogen, again, we'll share that on the screen with you. So, now when you're, remember now, we just come off of when it is high and fluctuating estrogen, right? Now we're going to look when it gets low, as the image before we shared with you showed you the graph fluctuation. So, when it's low now, we have hot flashes again and night sweat. So, we're not get away from the hot flash. We're not gonna get away from the night sweat. You know, we thought there was a way around it or whatever. Man, we're not gonna get out of it because every area of perimenopause, we have hot flash and night sweat. And then we jump into menopause, we have hot flash and night sweat again. Again, mood and sleep issues, vaginal dryness, and again, the aches and pain. Oh my goodness. So maybe that's what's happening to me at 28. Me having low estrogen. Or maybe I'm not that. Maybe I'm having the high one where it fluctuates. Maybe I don't. But it's cause for concern. Because Connie JE is having aches and pains. So maybe I'm going through that at 28. Now, we talk about the abdominal weight gain. And so, one of the reasons for this is that we naturally become more insulin resistant. And as we lose progesterone and estrogen, we can have a relative androgen excess, which can itself drive insulin resistance. And of course, which in turn can drive up androgens. So, one feeds into the other. So that's how we get the abdominal weight gain, becoming insulin resistant. And then, of course, you hear your doctor say you're pre diabetic, or, and if you don't change or adjust your diet and your lifestyle, boom, you have diabetes. And then when you have diabetes, like the next thing that flows with that is hypertension. And then your cholesterol, this and that, and salt, and this and that, and it's all over the place. But if we can catch these things early and do as the Lord says, the benefits are there. Friends, I tell you, if we really catch these things early and implement the instructions of God, it does not have to be a wicked time. It doesn't have to be a traumatic experience, perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. Because God said in the beginning that we were to eat herbs, grains, nuts, and fruits with seeds in them. And I feel that when you look at all the benefits of our fruits and benefits of our herbs and benefits of the ground provisions, and you see those benefits of the pepper, benefits, all of these things, and the aid they give the body. If you add them to your diet, adjust your lifestyle and your eating and all of that, perimenopause and these transitions for us will not be so traumatic. You remember when we were little, we never got, our parents never, and grandparents never carry a dentist often. Why? Because we out there eat cane. As we say in Jamaica, we name cane. And so you're eating cane. And what is the benefit? Because you're chewing, and the juice in itself is your sugar, your natural sugar, natural alcohol, natural vitamin C. But the trash itself cleans your teeth. and it strengthens your gum. So gingivitis and plaque can't stay on your teeth. And because it's those natural sugars, decay is less. Decay is less. And of course, you're going to get some of the cane trash in between your teeth. So automatically, again, you're getting some floss. And by the time you eat cane, a mango. And for those of you who, East Indian, my favorite mango, that have string. But when you brush is stringy when me love. Stringy, stringy, stringy. As you bite this mango, so be a string in your teeth. And no matter, you will tear your fingernail trying to, get that out of your teeth. But that's in itself, again, a natural dental floss. Because you have to work your gums get stronger. No bacteria can stay there because that a washer with cane, that a washer with the mangoes, you know. Some people chew stick. When you think about your tambourine, you have to clean your tongue. 'Cause when you go to Bama and you eat your tambourine, after a while, you have to push your tongue some. You have to get it off, you know. I'm out of water just thinking about tambourine. And then your guinea. So, some guineas you go so you have to and get that, the meat off of your tongue. So your tongue is being cleaned, your teeth are clean, your smile is beautiful, everything good. But now we have all the unnatural sugars because we drink up all them juice, we drink all of them energy drink and all them sitting and logs. One time you could have eat remember when we used to get milk powder from the clinic, you could have get milk powder and so. Milk powder, not even milk powder now, it's full of sugar. Right? So all of that is left back on your teeth and the processes are wicked because we're not having our fruits like how we did before. And we're not having our herbs. When mama used to give you the bitters, mommy used to give you the bitters, or you have to drink your Cersei tea in the morning, or you get your fever grass and you get your peppermint tea and black mint and all of these things natural. Natural. Or when they make chocolate, remember chocolate tea? Natural stuff. Now everything have much preservative and this your additive and this and this and this and this is just wearing down the body. So imagine now your body's going through this amazing phase of life. And instead of us looking on it as amazing, we're dreading this thing. It's just wicked, right? And the feelings. But put those food, put back the order of the diet. Get the nuts in. Huh? Get your peanut, get your cashew, get the nuts in, get your fiber in. Get, your herbs, your greens, get them in. And trust me, I believe wholeheartedly the transition will be less stressing. Testing estrogen and progesterone can be helpful in pinpointing this stage. But also, when the professionals are doing the testing, they are interested in the markers for stress, inflammation, and insulin resistance because this is the time your body, um, it's more you stress. It makes you remember now. It brings on anxiety. It causes you to be irritable. That you know, and you're having those mood swings, the irritated mood, anxiety, and all of that. So those causes stress. So you are stressed out. And so when they're testing for estrogen and progesterone, they want to check for these markers for stress. Stress brings inflammation to the body. And now you're becoming probably insulin resistant. you're gonna start to be feeling sicky. You're gonna get sick easy. Breeze blow, you drop down. You know what I mean? So um, you're so immune to the common cold, the flu, and of course, remember we talk about histamine related issues. So up here, so sinuses, drainage, and then you're having the migraines and the headaches. Who knows? Nosebleeds as well. All of these things are happening. So when you're doing the test, the professionals, they're looking for markers for stress, inflammation, and insulin resistance, which can worsen again with lower hormone levels. So absolutely, speak with your health care provider. You know, they're the boss on this thing. So how can we support ourselves in perimenopause? Number one, test, don't guess. Yeah? Test, don't guess. Gain insights into the following key areas of hormone health. You want to know about your hormone production. How much estrogen or progesterone am I making? Which stage of perimenopause am I in? You wanna get that test, don't guess. Hormone balance. Are my hormones in balance? For example, is my progesterone higher than my estrogen? You want to look at your hormone metabolism. Am I metabolizing estrogen safely? This is extremely important to find out in the early stages of perimenopause as estrogen levels are surging as well as before any estrogen hormone therapy, and can reduce breast cancer risk. So you want to find out in the early stages, am I metabolizing estrogen safely? Because here now, we want to know, is it reaching high levels, surging high? Again, another issue because you see, you're having the breast tenderness. You want to ensure you have these checked out because you want to reduce breast cancer risk. So all these are signs you want to ensure you take care of you. And we just talk about it again. I'm going to hit it again. In the testing, they are looking for the markers, stress, and other contributing factors. It's anything else that is contributing to my symptom. Is anything else, you know, contributing to my symptoms. So they'll test for stress hormones, they'll test for nutrients, they'll check your gut health, they'll check insulin resistance, neurotransmitters and inflammation markers to get a full picture. So it's a big deal, ladies. Men, it's a big deal for your wives. Big deal. Big deal. And also because we said, this thing can even start in your 30s, your daughters. Huh? This is a big deal. So you want to test and not guess. And I find that this is what you really want to stress about in doing, Check these markers. Is anything else adding to how I'm feeling? Check the stress hormones. Check your gut because again, um, estrogen, it aids the flow of your gut. Your transition, your food. If that goes down or if that's not metabolizing well, then the gut start give you a problem. Oh my goodness! So you want to do that. Secondly, after you've been tested and know where you stand, then you want to consider bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So, bioidentical HRT. Because during perimenopause, as we have discovered, it is not all about estrogen. Remember that, right? So, in fact, initially, it is all about the low progesterone. So initially, in the beginning, is not estrogen, it's progesterone. Therefore, your hormone therapy should not just be all about estrogen, especially in earlier perimenopause when you likely have high estrogen, you remember, where it is not metabolizing safely. It's important to test your hormones first before starting any hormone therapy in order to check which hormones you really need and in what dosage. You want to confirm the best format. For example, oral progesterone is not recommended if you have IBS or IBD. And then you want to ensure you are metabolizing your estrogen safely and effectively. So, one, test, don't guess. Two, you want to consider your bioidentical HRT. You want to be mindful that, if you have IBS or IBD, that the oral progesterone will not be recommended for you. Above all else, and I didn't put it at number one, I place it at number three because for me, it's the foundation that holds one and two. And what is that, Connie JE? It is the benefits of God. Mhm. Because getting into a relationship with God and you're talking with Him, and God is sharing, even through nature, His presence with you, that takes down anxiety, that regularizes your mood swings, communicating with God, having those moments of quiet, taking those walks, going into your garden, getting your hands dirty in your garden, growing things, watching flowers bloom, being a part of nature. This is where God embraces you when you're able to eat from your labor. You plant your papaya, you plant your pumpkin, plant your cantaloupe, and you are eating them and enjoying and seeing, oh God, allow these things to grow under your care. I tell you, it regularizes your mood swings. And it takes away, you know, that irritable mood. And all mood issues with God just starts to change from a negative to a positive when you start having your quiet time and your prayer time and you can meditate. Absolutely a great, great benefit of God. When you read His Word and you start to come into the knowledge of God and you grow in Christ. Listen, my people perish, God said, because of lack of knowledge. When you have the knowledge, and you can only gain the knowledge by reading, reading about the man. You have to read about your God, your Savior, your Creator. Then you would understand why we are so fearfully and wonderfully made, and that the idea of evolution is by far ridiculous. Did you hear me? Ridiculous in capital letters. So I'm shouting, I'm screaming, ridiculous. But how can you gain the knowledge? By going to the source of factuality, and that is the Word of God. Specifically, the best version and only version sanctioned by Flashpoint Media, the King James Version. King James Version. And you want to get the knowledge of God. And as you get the knowledge of God and understand His creative ability, and that He is the only true and wise, loving God, then you will remember His promises that He will tell you over and over. I will never, 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 ever leave you or forsake you. And so, ladies, as you transition through this as we go through this time and you just feel overwhelmed, I want to remind you, you are never alone because God says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. When your body just feel aching, when you get up and you're just having the aches and pains and them tell the sciatic nerve or whatever it is, and you call out to God, you know what he says? While they are yet speaking, I will answer. Psalms 90. While they are yet speaking, I will answer. So here you are, and you start to feel the aches and pains, and you feel so anxious, and you feel, having that brain fog. And you say, God, I feel. And when by the time you reach at the word feel, you feel better. And you haven't said me feel bad. Because while you are yet speaking, he answered. Because you are on God's mind. You are the apple of his eyes. Each one of us is as if we are the only person in the world for him. He only has eyes for me. Ah, he only has eyes for you. So he's aware of the things that you are going through. So while you are yet speaking, he answers. So you just reach the word feel. You didn't even finish the sentence and say bad. And you start to feel your body. You start feeling your mood picking up. You're feeling better. By the time you say, God, I feel bad, we don't feel good. God already answered your prayer. Listen, he will. He does. So you remember the promise. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. While you're yet speaking, I will answer. And when you call, I'll be right there with you. And I love the poem that cements it all for me. And that is Footprints in the Sand. Because when you're going through your struggles, when you're going through your time, you think I you one. I am the Lord. You feel abandoned, huh? You feel alone. You're going through this thing alone. And then when you go so boom and look back, you saw one set of footprints. And of course, you're gonna feel a certain way. You're gonna say, imagine God. Me not go through the thing and you make me one and he say, no, that's when I carried you. That's my footprints in the sand. I was carrying you all along. Ah, God is so amazing. So this transitional time doesn't have to be traumatic. Huh? And then when you learn and when you have these testimonies and when you the praise testimony and when you sing songs, because God says sing the psalms to yourself, encourage yourself. And when you do so, you garner the strength to be able to share with other women, share with the love of God. And guess what? When they see how in love you are and the benefits of God are just shining and falling off of you, they too want to get that aroma. They too want to get the essence of God. They too want to have the perfume of Christ and the Holy Spirit. They too want to experience what true love is. Until next time, even in the cold weather, I want to let you know that he that started a good work in you is faithful to complete it to the end. No perimenopause, no menopause, no postmenopause is going to hold us back. Why? Because the master designer have set everything in place for us to feel better. And I want to say shout out to Dr. Smith at HSA and Dr. Harris at HSA. Uh, you know, um, thank you for what you do. And to all of our doctors and our healthcare providers, working through the night and you're on call or so forth, just to all of you, thank you so much for answering the call of God because you didn't just choose to be there just on your own. but for whatever reason that motivated you to be there, God was actually the one that led you into healthcare. And we just want to tell you here from Flashpoint, our family here, we want to say thank you so much for answering that call. Thank you so much for, when we come in and we're irritable, when we're anxious, when we just, full blown crazy, right? And we just get on top of your nerves. And probably the ladies, you are going through perimenopause as well, going through these phases. And here we are just rubbing at you. Thank you for keeping it sane, keeping it together, giving us that care, giving us that respect, that and having us, feel that dignity, being in the dignity. We thank you so much. May God continue to bless you. And women, if you're experiencing this, you are not alone. Reach out, ask questions, be a voice, learn, share. God indeed is an amazing God, and He did not mean for us to suffer. Yeah? And God says, my thoughts towards you is that you prosper and be in good health. Until next time, Connie JE right here. We'll talk a little bit more about perimenopause and the herbs that can aid the body. See you then. Keep warm.
Join me this and every Tuesday at 7 to 8:30 p.m. as we discuss various interesting topics and take a look at the current happenings on our island and in our region. Just before you go to your bed, let's touch